This is the man from down under with a little thunder, WWE and Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, Bushwhacker Luke. And here something else comes from down under too. The Wrestling with Figs podcast with my mates Chris and James. You gotta tune into this great podcast because Chris and James will give you all the inside info. Whoa! Yay!
G'day and welcome to another episode of the Wrestling with Figs podcast. My name is James, and joining me today is my other host is...
My name is Chris, and I'm over here in the West. A massive couple of weeks in fig collecting in Australia and the world. We haven't seen each other for a while, James. How you been?
Been busy. Been really, really busy. Stressfully busy, but that's okay. It's Sunday here. It's Sunday here in beautiful Port Macquarie. It's lunchtime, and I'm just happy to see your face again, mate. And the sun's out. Most importantly, the bloody sun is out. Haven't seen it for a long time.
The sun absolutely never leaves in WA. It's like been 40 degrees. So how's this for you? 40 degrees here for probably the first 6 weeks of school. So teaching PE has been hot every day.
Yeah.
One day I take off. My kids went and had their vaccine, and it rains. Nice and cool day, 20 degrees. The one day.
But nice. At least you had it at home. You had it at home, right?
Yeah, well, it's nice to be at home. So don't mind taking a day off here or there if you can get away with it.
Absolutely.
But we're going through our Corona first experience over here in WA. We're getting lots of cases, and everyone's making up rules as they go along, which is nice.
Yes.
And interesting rules like if you're a teacher, you have to stay home. If there's a case in your classroom, you have to stay home for a week and get a few tests and checks. But if you're a kid and you're in the same class, as long as you get a negative test, you can go back the next day.
Yeah, it's a very smart. It's a very smart virus, the coronavirus. Very intelligent.
It just knows who to get. Have you had corona?
No.
I haven't yet, but I think I had it before it was here, like about 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure I had it before it even was cool. But now it's branched out to mainstream. So I had it when it was still independent.
You're a trendsetter. Well, mate, it's a bit of a somber week, isn't it? Actually, somber couple of weeks.
How's the news, mate? We've had the worst run of people being dying or just not good news that I can ever remember. Yeah.
Well, let's mention the two that we're talking about here. First up, we've got Shane Warne. That was a pretty big surprise.
Mate, he as a kid. At 52, he was my absolute idol as a kid. Like, if you said, which cricketer would you want to be more than anyone else? It was always Warnie. Like, he was the best. He changed the game. Everything he did was entertaining. I was absolutely shattered when I heard that news. And normally with celebrities, I don't really get emotionally invested at all. But with Warnie, I was just like, oh, man, 52, 52.
Yeah. I'm not a big cricket fan, to be honest with you, but Shane Warne, everyone knew who Shane Warne was. And I just recently watched his documentary. Have you seen that?
I haven't yet. No, I'll definitely go on the list though.
He was up there he was a Nike sponsored athlete. So he was up there with Jordan. He met Jordan. So he's a pretty big deal. I didn't really know that at the time. Unfortunately, I know him more for his off-field antics, but that doesn't define who he is ultimately, does it? So, R.I.P. Shane Warne. But speaking of those moments where time stood still and you remember where you were when someone dies, Ultimate Warrior was one for me. I remember I was helping a mate out, labouring for him, and I just looked at my Facebook and saw that Warrior had died. And funny enough, actually it's not funny, but not long before that, I actually wrote a bit of a bucket list. My bucket list was to meet Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. Don't know how I was going to do it. So it was almost like, well, scratch that one. That's never, ever going to happen.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It is. And obviously this week we were all informed of the tragic passing of the bad guy, Razor Ramon.
Yes, very sad. Scott Hall heading off to join all those pictures that were put up on the screen.
Yeah.
fallen superstars of the 90s. And like, the picture of them, you got Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, Owen Hart, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Hennig, British Bulldog, Macho Man, Brian Pillman, Dusty Rhodes, John Tenta, Ravishing Rick Rude, Elizabeth, Sherry Martel, Paul Bearer, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Like, that is some high quality wrestling talent. And all of them are passing well before their time.
Yeah. 50s and 60s, yeah.
You know, when he passed, again, I wasn't a huge Scott Hall fan in my mind. In my mind, I was like, oh, well, you know, he's a superstar. And then I started seeing people posting like, oh, you know, he's my favorite wrestler. Love the NWO. I think some of the reason I didn't connect as much with Scott Hall was because it was harder to see WCW here. So a lot of that iconic stuff he did at the start of the NWO run, we sort of only got bits and pieces unless you had ways of seeing it. But then I looked at my figures and I thought, geez, I've got about 8 different figures of Scott Hall. And I thought, I didn't even realize I've got customs. I've got the Hasbros, both of the Hasbros. I've got about 3 or 4 elites, the Legends figure. Like, it just, you think, oh, he actually, yeah. And one thing that I love, now let's turn this around and make it a bit more lighter. I love when I see people who, especially Americans, love to do this. So shout out if any of our American friends are listening. They love to find ways to honor someone who's passed. Check this guy out.
Yeah,
he's got Scott Hall shaved into the back of his head.
That's fantastic.
Firstly, mad skills by the hairdresser to shave that into the hair.
Absolutely.
Not sure whether that's the look I would be going for. What about you? I reckon you look good with a Scott Hall on the back of your head.
Yeah, why not? I love the little pink
curl.
Stuff. Yeah. Well, let's discuss what's your favourite Scott Hall moment? Well, Razor Ramon. I want to refer to him as Razor Ramon because that's how I remember him mostly as a kid.
I think for me, the 1-2-3 kid match.
Yeah,
even though you're going to go the same one, aren't you?
I was going to say the same. Yeah.
So I'll go different then. Probably the ladder match then. The Shawn Michaels ladder match, WrestleMania, first ladder match, amazing event, and then you think like that's the thing. You think, oh, Scott Hall, and then when we start talking about like ladder match, 1-2-3 kid match, NWO, and it just keeps going and going and going. And even Razor Ramon, as much as the gimmick probably doesn't date well, at the time he was the bad guy. He was the one everybody couldn't stand. And then he went good. He was a good guy for a while too. Yeah.
I'm going to say this one because it says a lot about him to put over 1-2-3 kid at the time. And I'm pretty sure it was on a Monday Night Raw. But I'm going to say my favourite moment was, you know, I love a comeback story. You know, we've talked about Ben Cousins on the show before. I loved his comeback story when Diamond Dallas Page and Jake the Snake took him under their wing and got him back from where he was, which was, you know, not a very good place, facing demons, to what we saw of late, and actually been inducted into the Hall of Fame. So that's pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Strong. That's strength. That's pure strength, right? Like to come from the depths of death to thriving. It's that's a testament to the person he was.
Yep. Hey, we need to change tack though because we need to lighten the mood a bit. So firstly, I'm going to show you this, mate. There's you with a fan. Very funny. Anyone who hasn't seen it, it's me doctoring a picture of somebody dressed up as Dusty Rhodes with Matt Cardona. But I have the original there as well. How good is that cosplay by that bloke to dress up as Dusty Rhodes?
Well, let me share this with you. Let me share this with you. So let me share this with you. Since COVID, I probably don't look too far off that body suit.
And then this is another one. I found a couple of funnies here. I'll just read this one out. It says, Jordan Bohannon makes game-winning shit. Well done, Jordan. I love a good typo. And then
someone's lost their job.
A collectible I saw this week was RoboCop collectible. Remember when RoboCop shot that dude in the dick?
I remember that.
RoboCop meme.
Yes.
Well, we've been on a little bit of a extended break, which wasn't really planned. It was more because of our social lives. I went down and checked out this cool event in WA called Sculptures by the Sea. I posted a picture in the group. How good is this sculpture that was down there? There's me showing off all the guns with the big Macho Man Hulk Hogan inspired steel sculpture. For some reason, there's a bush in the groin. I don't know why that's there, but looking out at the ocean.
There you go. Beautiful.
That?
That's awesome. That's
cracking
awesome.
day too. Would have been even better if it wasn't for the food poisoning we all suffered after being out for dinner that night. So.
Oh, yuck. Well, how about we kick it off, mate? Let's get into community news.
Community news.
And morning to Matt Rhodes, Steve Campbell, Rocco Medafri, who've already all checked in on the live stream. Good to see people regularly checking in on the live stream. And if you're listening on the podcast, we do this as a live stream. You're always welcome to join us. Take it away, James.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's kick it off with our major sponsors, Go Figure Collectibles. Without Go Figure Collectibles, there would be no Wrestling with Figures podcast. So show your support. Jump online. Everything's store-wide. Use code FDU5 to receive your 5% discount. Jeff's been getting some amazing stock of late. Unfortunately, not Mattel's as Mattel once promised, but he's been getting, some secondhand collections, coming into the store. He's getting Sideshow collectible statues with The Undertaker I saw recently. So jump online. There's a whole variety. It's a whole pop culture store, not just wrestling related. So get on there and show your support to Go Figure Collectibles. Chris, you mentioned at the top of the show, this is a live stream turn podcast, but if you want to see this live, join us at the Figs Down Under community on Facebook, answer the 4 questions, and we will welcome you with open arms. A great community, great people, all supportive, and we have a no dickhead policy. So if you're a dickhead, don't join us.
Yeah. Or a scalper.
You're a scalper.
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you after we finish this, mate. Had an interesting experience during the week dealing with a particular dickhead. So I'll tell you after the show, though.
Sure.
It's probably not podcast appropriate.
Sure.
Now, starting off with our figure news, mate, but we're going to start off with some cards today. You'll notice I'm taking the lead. I'm taking the lead on this today because James, he's just been on holidays, getting some sun. Look at him. He looks brown. Cherry Collectibles, our friends over at Cherry, posted the first look at the new Panini WWE cards. So we're going to show you a couple of those now, starting off with the dual auto iconic rivals. Now, this one we're showing is a Bobby Lashley and a Drew McIntyre. Thought on this card, James?
Yeah, look, I don't dislike it. I think it's okay.
My worry is that a sticker auto or is it a on-card auto?
I'd say there'd be a sticker auto, mate.
It's a bit disappointing when it's a sticker auto. Second look at the cards, we've got the gold Prism Charlotte Flair.
That looks good. Looks really good.
I think it's a nice looking card. We've got the orange champion signed Roman Reigns, lazy signature Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't like the orange, I've got to say. I don't like the orange.
Yeah, I think those are quite rare, though. I'm not too all over it. Got the superstar signature Alexa Bliss.
Yep. Not bad.
Nice signature with the new gimmick of Alexa Bliss. So it's probably not that new. And I really like this last one. This is the color burst Becky Lynch. So you've got the rainbow colors from left to right with the superstar in the middle. Interestingly enough, this sort of style card has now been added to the most recent footy card release. So if you are a footy card collector, they have they're called the Spectrum cards, and there's 5 for each team in the release that are via redemption. So they're pretty cool cards. Thoughts on the Panini release? Will you be buying a box, James?
No, unless there's legends in it. No, I'd rather just buy individual legend. I'm not, I don't follow it that closely these days to justify spending that sort of money.
Cards are very interesting at the moment. I reckon prices are all over the place. They were so high for about a year, and then now some things are going high, and some things like in the AFL market, which I probably know better than the wrestling market, there's a few different players whose cards just went through the roof. But this year, they don't seem to be as expensive. But, there you go. Hey, next reveal.